Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Snoop Dogg has apologized for criticizing the movie Lightyear, which featured a lesbian couple having a baby. Snoop said he took his grandkids to the movie, and his grandson looked at him and said, "Papa Snoop, that's a lady and that's a lady. How they have a baby?" And Snoop like, "Shit, I don't know. I didn't come here for this." Man, he was like, "Yo, you didn't just leave that type of stuff out of the movies, right?" Well, the LGBTQ got wind of Snoop's interview that he did on this podcast, and man, all hell broke loose. A number of celebrities came for Snoop, including Billy Porter, who told Snoop, "Don't worry about the gays. Worry about explaining your criminal past and cooning for Trump to your grandson." Okay, Billy, I get you. I get where you're going. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But Snoop's grandson didn't ask him about his criminal history or cooning for Trump. He asked him specifically, how did two women have a baby? And what's so hard about answering that question, I don't know, because if it had been my grandson, I would have just said, they can't have a baby. This is make-believe, son. And that would have been the end of the discussion. Point blank, period. I don't understand. I don't understand what's all the argument about. You know, we live in a society of feelings now, fam. Like, feelings are more important than reality. Don't get me wrong now, fam. I don't practice going out of my way to try to hurt people's feelings. But if I'm having a conversation and my grandson or my child or anybody asks me a question, I'm going to answer it in reality. I'm going to answer with reality, not make-believe. If my grandson asks me, "Granddad, what's 2 + 2?" I am going to tell him 4. I'm not going to say 5 to spare his feelings because someone else told him the answer was 5. You dig what I'm saying, fam? We got to get past that. This is one of the reasons why you have a lot of people defecting from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party. And that is because the Republicans, they're just as bad as the Democrats. Do not get me wrong. They're just as bad. But they do oftentimes not worry about being politically correct. They don't worry about offending. Now, that's the problem, though, because it's a problem with that, because they do a lot of lying also. You know, they do a whole lot of lying. And they tell the truth when it's beneficial to them. Now, don't get it twisted and think I'm riding for the Republicans just because I said what I said. I don't trust the Democrats or the Republicans. I'm independent. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, they're two wings on the same bird. The only reason why the Republicans don't have more blacks on their side is because they make the Klan too comfortable, and everybody knows without a doubt, because they remind us daily that the Klan do not like black people. They don't like a whole lot of other people. They don't even like themselves, but they don't like black people. Neo-Nazis don't like black people. Proud Boys don't like black people. So that's the only reason why a lot of black people can't see themselves voting Republican, because, you know, it ain't even quiet as kept. A lot of black people have conservative views, but they're not going to vote Republican because they don't want to be in that particular party. The Democrats ain't no better. They snakes, you know. They laugh in your face and stab you in the back. Yeah, they all team white supremacy. You dig what I'm saying, fam? But getting back to the get back. Yeah, I would have straight up told my grandson that it was make-believe. Ain't no end of discussion. Ain't nothing else really to talk about. I'm not going to lie to my child, lie to my grandson, just to spare somebody else's feelings. Members of the gay community are not lying to their grandkids when they see heterosexuals do things that don't add up. They tell them what it is. They tell them the truth. Yeah. So I don't understand what the problem is. And I don't even understand why Snoop apologized, because I thought you're supposed to apologize when you're wrong about something. So maybe they can say that his response, the way he responded when he explained what happened, he was a little insensitive about how, maybe somebody can say that. Maybe they can accuse him of being insensitive, but they cannot accuse him of lying. So what is he apologizing for? Is he apologizing for telling the truth? Or is he apologizing because he hurt someone's feelings? I think a lot of people in the LGBTQ community were not offended by what Snoop said, but how he said it. You dig? Because there were a lot of people in that community who were not offended by what he said. In fact, I read comments where a lot of people were saying, a lot of people who identified as gay were saying, he's right. Two women can't have a baby together. They can't make a baby. If he didn't want to straight up say, hey, it's make-believe, maybe he could have just said something like, hey, son, it's a long story. I'll tell you about it on the way home. And then he spent the remaining time watching the movie and simultaneously hoping that his grandson forget the question. Because what do you say? What are you going to tell him? You're going to start talking to your grandson about surrogacy and artificial insemination? You know what I'm saying. It kind of gets a little complicated there. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.